So yeah, Lewis, we've spoken about Maresca and patience with managers, etc., etc. Obviously, last season it was Poch. I mean, I think we see different sides, don't we? We see different sides, which is absolutely fine. I mean, I just want to say from the get-go, I'm not writing the season off. I'm not saying that we can't get Champions League. I'm just saying if we keep going the way that we're going, and I blame that on the manager the way we're going right now, I just can't see it.
You can't see what us making top 4 or what?
Oh, definitely not top 4. I'm squeezing my hands just thinking about top 5. I mean, I'm not thinking about 4th. I'm thinking about 5th, mate, if I'm honest.
I mean, that's fair enough, at least, because like we're not guaranteed either. But I think us even being in this conversation is still an improvement on last season. And my whole thing with you specifically is I don't get how you were that patient with Poch through all of the terrible football that we saw last season.
Yeah.
The constant injuries, the constant BS in the press conferences.
Which, by the way, we see that now.
Yes, but here's the thing. We're 4th. We've been competing for top 4 all season. We were competing to try and overtake Man United for most of last season. We were rotting in mid-table for the majority of last season. That's the big difference. Like, people can say there's a lot of similarities in what these two aren't doing well, but one's doing this from higher up the table than the other.
We're 5 points ahead of Bournemouth, who are 10th.
I'm sure Bournemouth were above us this time last season.
Probably were, to be fair. But I mean, 4th doesn't mean much, Lewis. It doesn't mean much because it can slip like that. It's like when you're in a club, Lewis, and you're trying to find a girl, and there's another guy in the club who's probably eyeing up the same girl. You both buy her a drink. She might have a chat with you, and then she'll have a chat with him. Depends if she likes vodka or if she wants a cocktail. Who knows? Somebody's going to get the girl, but it's hard to tell, Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, that's the top 4 race for us. But like last season, we weren't even getting into the club.
Yeah, but where did we come from?
What do you mean?
Where did we come from before?
But that was a different Chelsea squad. So I keep telling you, you keep saying we went from 12th to 6th. That was not the same Chelsea squad that finished 12th.
But
it was a completely different squad.
You have to appreciate that to take a team, I'm not saying a squad, a team from 12th to 6th is a significant improvement.
But it's a different team.
Does it not deserve more credit as well? The fact that you have so many players who have never played together, never played in the Premier League, never even played at senior level for more than 2 or 3 years, a lot of them, and they still managed to get 6th.
Not if we weren't competing for it for the majority of the campaign. Like, if we were competing for top 4 majority of last season, I would have heard the arguments of a lot of people that were Pochettino. Because at the very least, he had us competing for that spot throughout the campaign.
Why would we have started? Why would we start well, Lewis? Why? See,
probably because we had the easiest start of the season last campaign, and we got 5 points out of 5 games. Okay. It was statistically the easiest start out of everyone in the league.
I remember actually when I was on Sky, I was hyping it up. I remember that we had Luton.
This is my thing. Like, it's not like Poch had a terrible hand from the off. You had great fixtures to work with, and he played with 2 forwards against the likes of Luton and Nottingham Forest.
See, my thing was this, Lewis. He had to get to know that team. Maresca had a team where he could see what had happened over a season or even 2.
And his idea was Colwell left back and Chilwell left wing,
which then changed. And you saw a lot of improvements.
Colwell was left back for like the whole first half of the campaign,
and then it changed, didn't it? And then it improved. So what that told me is that Pochettino got to know the squad. Yeah, he took his time doing it. I agree with you on that. And I agree with a lot of the performances. Like, we had some really poor games, man. Like when I went to Middlesbrough, that was for me. I couldn't have been more annoyed than I was against Middlesbrough. I said,
but you were still heavily Poch in through then, and you said, I remember your words after the Carabao Cup final. You said
it was
a different manager. Yeah, no, you said a different manager isn't going to get any better out of this squad, and Maresca is here getting better out of this squad.
Not in the cup competitions. We got knocked out in the first round of the Carabao.
In the league, though,
we're out of the FA Cup.
In the league, though, and I'll also argue Poch had easier cup runs than Maresca in both of them. Actually, no, not both of them. He failed the Brighton one. I ain't going to defend him on that one. The Carabao Cup, though, Poch had an easier run. Much easier run.
He got there. That's the most important thing for me. I mean, look, we could talk all we want about
Barely. He even made
cuts,
Middlesbrough a difficult run, and they had 16 injuries. And
but
then he came out after we lost 1-0 and waffled about injuries.
But we ended well. We ended well, and we got better and better. Can we not agree on that?
We ended well, and what that did is it proved that he was lying throughout the entire campaign. All he did was waffle about injuries, and then in our worst injury crisis, he got our best run of form.
What?
Bro, do you remember the benches that we had against Aston Villa, against Tottenham and West Ham? We had our worst injury crisis of the entire campaign.
Are you talking about January, February time?
No, I'm talking May. We had our worst injury crisis of the campaign.
A few players that came back, though. I remember James come back, and well, he was probably the main one.
Do you remember the benches that we had against West Ham, Spurs, and Villa? They were just NPCs everywhere, and he managed to get the first team playing their best football. It just showed he was lying the entire campaign when he was waffling about injuries and waiting for players to come back. Because when we had our worst crisis, we had our best run. So he was a liar.
So is that not a testament to getting the best out of what you're working with? Maresca has a couple of injuries.
Well, why didn't he do it earlier? Why didn't he do it early? And then maybe we would have got fourth. And you know what? I might have heard keeping him then because he actually got the best out of the squad. Other than, let's invert a left back at halftime against Villa. And I've struck accidental gold with that.
Let's look at Maresca, though. Okay, let's look at Maresca because I hear your points on Pochettino. I don't agree with all of them. I hear them. First thing is the goalkeeper. That's the one thing that really. You know what? That is the first reason why I dislike Maresca. It's because of his incompetence in terms of choosing a goalkeeper. I also believe that he was probably involved in the decision to send Petrovic to Strasbourg, which is another testament to terrible decision making. I don't understand why he did that. The second thing
on the goalkeeping front.
The second thing for me, Lewis, is the way he speaks in the press. And the third thing is his style of play and the fact that he actually hasn't improved many players individually. Now, I know you think he's improved some of them, and I agree with some of them. I think he's improved Enzo Fernandez. I think Cucurella has been good under Maresca, but I also think he was pretty good under Poch. I think Jackson's been good under Maresca, but I think he improved under Poch massively.
Yeah, but both of them have improved to a much higher level under Maresca. There was never a period where people were going to talk about Cucurella as player of the season for us, and this season he is in that conversation. Nicholas Jackson was looked at as the most informed striker in the league under Maresca and not under Pochettino. Who else? Caicedo. I would argue you can say he's improved a little bit towards the end of Poch's run, but there is no way we can act like Maresca hasn't got more out of him over the entire campaign.
I agree.
Enzo Fernandez, I'll argue, is the most improved player in this Chelsea squad this season, and that's under Maresca.
Yes, I agree with that. But the thing is,
even the likes of Noni, I'll say, has improved under Maresca.
He has improved.
I think he's got more purpose in the system than he did under Poch's.
Fair, absolutely fair. The thing is, though, maybe where we're seeing things differently is just because Jackson had a great run of form doesn't mean he improved more than he did last year. Because he'd already improved to get to that level where he was at a stage where, right, we know you can score more goals now. We know you can get involved in build-up play.
Bro, his finishing and his decision-making was a clear upgrade on last season before the end of December. And that is from the manager.
Yes, I don't know if I'd give Maresca credit for Jackson being able to shoot, but...
I do, because he was over-touching everything on the Poch. When it was Maresca over the first half of the campaign, it was 1-2 bang. That's from the manager. That's the manager telling you how you should be finishing your chances quickly.
No, I give Jackson credit, mate. I do give Jackson credit, but I don't agree that he's improved much more than than last season in terms of where he was, where he started the season to where he's finishing up. I don't see Jackson and go, right, the start of the season you were here, end of the season you're much better. Last season I felt like that. This season Jackson started well. And it's been like, okay, all right. Like, we can't sit here and say he's got better and better and better. Because
they're not better and better, but he's got better to a point that he wasn't under Poch.
But you're talking about the start of the season. So Maresca barely had any time to work with him.
First 3 or 4 months of the season. That is enough time to work with that is enough time to work with a player and get more out of them.
I'm sorry. You need more time than that, Lewis. You need more time.
No, because look at Cucurella and Caicedo as an example.
Yeah, but Cucurella performed inverting under Poch. You know, that's old news. We saw it work. If it would have been over a longer period, we would have had the same conversation. Granted, it took him time.
But Cucurella's
even as a
also at
normal
games
left
where he's
back,
not
Cucurella
inverting
performed.
for us and he's still cooking.
Let's talk about because I don't want to go too much back and forth, Luke. Let's talk about the season as a whole, and where we think we can finish as well, because we can agree to disagree. I don't really rate Maresca. I'd love to know what you think he brings. We're talking about individuals here now, and we've mentioned a couple of players. As a squad, do you think he's improving our squad based on what we had when we started?
Yes. Okay. I think a lot of our squad has improved this campaign. I think a lot of it has come down to actually having injuries in key places, because we've seen how well we performed in the first half of the season with all of our first teamers fit. So now they're all coming back after the international break. I would expect the whole narrative around our team to change when the performances improve. Lavia, Fofana, Jackson, that brings back our physicality, that brings back our aggression. Noni will bring back some directness into the attack and also some the ability to spread the team out a little bit. And then I also think that'll improve the performances of Sancho, because Sancho is too safe for my liking, but that's fine when you have the other three forwards on the pitch because it gives you a bit of variation. So, with Pochettino, he made the arguments about injuries and then managed to get something out of the team in our worst injury crisis. With Maresca, I genuinely think once these players are back, the team should improve, and they're all back after the break. So I really think that's been what our biggest problem has been. That, and Maresca's he is rigid. He is a bit too rigid, and I'll understand the criticisms on that because he don't really have a plan B like that. He'll make tweaks with the starting lineup and everything, but there's not really a change that you see him make in games anymore, which I do want to see him improve on. First half of the campaign, he was great at that. He was great at making halftime tweaks, and we'd come out and look a lot stronger. I don't know where that's gone, but I expect that to improve after the break.
See, I wouldn't have a problem with a manager being stringent and that possession-based style. Me and you were both big fans of Sari. I liked Sari. You like Sari as well. So
you liked Sari throughout the campaign?
Yeah, I liked him. How
the hell are you Maresca out? I don't.
Mate, because Sari's he proved himself in other leagues, man. He proved himself. Who the fuck has Maresca managed?
About Sari ball
Who's
being
he managed,
boring?
Lewis? What's he done in his career?
Bro,
he's an assistant.
That's the same argument people made about Sari, about the boring football, about what Sari done. He's never won a trophy.
Sari made Napoli play some of the most entertaining football that you've ever seen. And you could see that it took a little bit of time.
But people still made the same argument about no trophies and everything like that. People still make the same argument about his football being boring to watch, and I want to be entertained and everything.
Okay.
So I don't know how you sat through that era and you were fine with it, and you're not fine with this.
Because, first of all, Sari was an experienced, well-seasoned manager who had experience at multiple clubs and had success in his own right at multiple clubs. We're not talking about trophies here, but he did have success in the sense that people loved watching his teams, right? And they were pushing at the top of the table. Napoli were competing for trophies, albeit they didn't win it. He came to Chelsea, he got us into Europa League final, beat Arsenal, we thrashed them. I was in Baku for that one. And, we lost on pens against Man City in the Carabao, which we should have won as well. We actually played better than them.
But the thing is, people still said our brand of football was boring. And that's been one of your biggest arguments against Maresca, that you're bored.
Yeah, this is worse than Sari. Much worse. Because do you know the difference between Sari and our situation as a club is that under Sari, you had hope and optimism. Let's just say we would have kept him. We would have invested. We would have listened to what he needed to bring into the team.
We had a transfer ban, my friend.
No, but okay, sorry. Another season then, whatever. You know what I mean, Lewis. We would have tried to back the manager. Abramovich always did that, right? So I'm looking at Sari as a manager that, okay, we can build with you. We know that you can win a trophy now. You've done it. You won the Europa League.
No one knew he could win a league.
Conference League. Sorry,
no one knew he could win a league.
No, nobody knew that. Of course not. I mean, he did do it at Juve though, if I'm not wrong.
But that was after he left us, isn't it?
I think there's a much bigger basis to back Sari. I mean, how you could look at Maresca and his CV and compare it to any manager that we've had.
No, but we're diverting away from the football Because that's one of your reasons against Maresca.
That's one of the reasons.
But this was the same reason that people had against Sari.
The football, yes, but it's different because we had better players under Sari. So you knew even if you played
people were still bored out of their socks.
Yeah, but you knew that you could still pick up results even if you were playing badly. And again, like I just mentioned, you could build on it. And you've seen how over a period of years at Napoli, what that style turns into. What have we seen with Maresca?
All I'm saying is with a possession-based manager and you're transitioning to that style of play, you're going to have periods where it does look boring while they try and understand the system. I knew this period was going to happen because I've been through the Sari era too. But I knew there was going to be a down patch, and I knew people were going to be bored and turn against the manager because of it. Because Stamford Bridge just isn't accustomed to possession-based football. Everything that I predicted is literally happening now in front of our eyes. The only problem with Maresca is he's had these performances against poor teams, and that isn't acceptable.
But I mean, look, we are not going to get anywhere. If we did qualify for the Champions League, we wouldn't get out of the group phase in the Champions League playing the way that we've been playing. We wouldn't get out of it. You know, we get relegated in the Champions League. I don't even think you get demoted anymore. You just get kicked out.
Yeah, you just get
entirely. So I'm looking at this guy and I'm thinking, give me a reason to trust you. Because I said this, Lewis, if he gets top 5 or top 4, whatever it is, I take my hat off to him because it's a difficult job, mate. I appreciate that. But I still think you have to do more with what you have. I still think that you can get more out of players. Another thing that I don't like about Maresca is his man management. I think that the way he handles players, and we speak about rotation and some of the players he's rotated. I actually think he's been pretty poor in a lot of respects. The way he's handled Nkunku, the fact that he allowed Vega to leave the club, João Felix, the way he handled him as well. You got
I
players.
can hear a few of those names, to be fair. Like part of the reason why João Felix wanted to go on loan was he didn't even get bench minutes like that. So I hear it. And Nkunku is trash, though. I don't give a damn if you don't.
Lewis, when we signed Nkunku, what was he?
I don't know. He was a good player, but
one of the best in the world in his position, mate. The top scorer.
What position?
Number 10.
Position, though?
Number 10.
He don't look like a good 10 anymore. His goal scoring instincts have all dried up, and he's slim, but he plays like he's fat. He's just useless.
He is useless, but I think the system. I think it's actually hard.
I am not blaming Nkunku's form on the system.
The system does not suit Nkunku, and that's fine. But if you're a good manager, you can adapt the system to get the best out of your players. The players who will perform. You've got no strikers. Who's going to score the goals? Who's going to score the goals? You're going to count on Neto to score 20 goals? We know Nkunku can do it. He's done it. Many times.
Well, whoever that player is, he looks like he's dead now.
Because the manager killed him.
No, it's not because Maresca killed him. It's because he's lazy and he don't want to be here.
Because
the guy is straight useless. He's a fucking mannequin in games, and that's on him. I've seen him miss chances one-on-one in the Conference League. That is on him. I've seen him get locked up by Rico Lewis, who is a dead right back on the left, and that's on him. Nkunku is not Maresca's fault. Nkunku is straight trash. He is garbage.
On paper, not one of our best players.
No, I don't. Under on paper or the FIFA stats. I've watched him all season.
We've got nothing to trust on paper, so we're relying on potential. We have
watched Nkunku fit all season, stink it up, game in and game out. I'm not blaming the manager. He's played him in nearly every position he could. He sucks. I don't care if Nkunku don't play another minute for this club. Every minute that he should be getting, give it to Tyreek George. He don't deserve it. He's shit. I don't want Nkunku playing another minute for this football club. I want him gone in the summer.
I agree that Nkunku shouldn't really be playing much more. I agree.
Not a single minute. I don't even want him playing in the Club World Cup. Bin him off. First offer we get, sell him. I don't care who it's to.
No, he's not. You know, he's not got a future at Chelsea anymore. That's obvious. The club don't want him. The manager doesn't want him, and he doesn't want to be there. But you can't act like this was brought on by Nkunku. This wasn't brought on by Nkunku. This was brought on by poor man management and the inability from Maresca to get more out of his players in terms of, you know, players who aren't necessarily starting every week.
Not on Maresca getting more out of Nkunku when Nkunku don't even try on the pitch.
He's never been a runner, Lewis, and he still couldn't find a way to fit him in. How come he was scoring all those goals in Germany? Like he was still scoring goals.
Germany is
in the
literally
league.
a running league, bro.
And last season under Poch, he was scoring when he was playing.
In the Bundesliga.
He scored last season as well when he was playing.
Well, he played like what 3 games,
and he scored in pretty much all of them. You can't tell me that Nkunku's not a player that can add something to this team when we're struggling for goals.
No,
you have to admit that he brings goals. That's what we need.
Where was he started like what 4 or 5 games in a row for us, and where's the goals been? He's been shit.
Again, I just listen. I'm
Look
not.
That balloon's got fucking cobwebs. He's garbage.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying about Nkunku's mentality now. I agree. It's done. From January, it was done.
This is the thing. Then I'm not blaming it on Maresca. It's on him and his lack of application. He's shit. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Maresca's even more stupid for playing him then. I mean, they're both as bad as each other, and that says why.
Over Tyreek George, now I hear it because I don't want to see this guy playing for this club anymore. I want him gone. I'm done with him. It's a Sterling Havertz thing with him. I want you gone, out at the club.
I want to ask you as well about the system inverting fullbacks. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it, mate. If I'm honest, I think it can work at times. What I liked last season that we did towards the end of the season is we inverted and we also overlapped. We had the best of both worlds, but we don't seem to do that now. We only invert. And that's a real issue for me because I think that the wingers need so much more support. And there's other players like Gusto as well, who I absolutely love, who can't thrive inverting. And they're not allowed to do what they like to do. Even Reece James, I know he hasn't got the pace that he once had.
But then we try and overlap Gusto and he's shit too. So it's like...
I think that's harsh, mate. Because you try it in a couple of games, it's not enough. You need to give players.
But you don't see a single improvement, and that's the thing. Like if it was still like iffy in some areas, but you can see he's more comfortable, I'd understand it. He's just been shit.
Yeah, but how can you just blame it on? He was one of our best players last season when the team was poor.
Like, I don't know where he's disappeared to this season. And I could hear the argument when he inverts, because I get like he's not comfortable in that role. But then when you overlap, I want to see an improvement immediately. And I don't see any immediate improvement. And that's on him.
No. That's on.
What do you mean? Like you want him to overlap, and then he overlaps. He's the same garbage player that's inverting. That's on him.
Mate, even against Arsenal, he come off the bench and he actually whipped across, and I thought, oh, at least we've done something. Look, I don't understand Maresca's. I don't understand why he holds back on that. Sometimes you need a bit of chaos. Why do you have to control everything just to actually have no control? Just because you have possession, you're not doing anything with it. So for me, I'd love to see us.
Even that is better than just here's the ball, run around, Poch ball, because there's no control and it's unpredictable.
But I think this team thrived on chaos last season. I mean, 4-4
they clearly
against
didn't see us with a
4-3
mid-table all season.
4-3 against United.
No way are you flexing that United game. Find shame immediately.
What big games have we won under Maresca? What?
Bro,
we won.
Are you going to flex being 3-2 down in the 99th minute and United fumbling the bag from there?
Mate,
please
if we would have played Maresca ball, we would have lost that game 3-2.
No, we would not have.
We would have
won that game.
All right, fair enough. Maybe we would have lost 1-0 because it would have been.
We got dominated by Ten Hag at home, and we got off by his own stupidity. They gave away a penalty, and then no one marked Palmer on a corner, and he had a shot. That's it.
So just because we have the ball now, you're not going to say that we were poor. So is that domination to you?
It is domination.
Oh, Lewis.
It is domination and it is control. Now it's about what you do with the control. That's what the argument should be. What do you do with it? But don't argue that it's not domination and it's not control.
Maresca is like bringing a girl back to your house, giving her drinks. She's ready to go into bed, and then you say, "I'm sleeping on the sofa." You did all that work and you did nothing. You got nothing for it. Have a fucking shot. Pass forward. But what's going on here? Everyone's so scared now. Nobody wants to do anything. He said it publicly, Lewis.
Dancing to your own music in your headphones.
He's going to substitute him. If a goalkeeper goes long, he's going to come off. I mean, he's clearly restricting what they can do.
But that's part of the system. And I don't mind that because we're playing better this season than we did last.
Oh, Lewis. If we
we're not wrong, though.
Lewis, let's look at these fixtures, right? And I'm going to try and be optimistic as well, because people act like I don't want him to do well. I do, and I'll happily humble pie if he finishes in the Champions League, and you can laugh at me. But I'll also laugh because I'll be happy with that. We got Tottenham, Brentford, Ipswich in our next few games. We've got Fulham away, Everton at home, and then we got Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, United at home, Nottingham Forest away. Now, you tell me, based on how we've played in 2025, and we're in our third month now, going into our fourth month when we play our next fixture against Spurs, where you see any results coming from the way we're playing.
Let's go game by game.
Okay, Tottenham, we can both agree we win that one.
Yep.
That's definitely it. Brentford, I think we drop points.
Could maybe see a draw in that. Part of me's thinking victory because, again, players are returning, but like I need to see them return as well first. So I'll say draw for now.
Okay. Ipswich,
Win.
I think we can win that game. Fulham away, I think we drop points again.
I think we win that.
No, not for me. I think that do you know what it is about Fulham? They have a crack, mate. They have a good crack, and they can score goals as well. So I see us conceding, and then honestly, I don't know, man. I just don't see us penetrating sides. So maybe a few more 1-0s, which is, in a way, I'm almost hypocritical by saying that because I've been asking for 1-0s, but fuck me, it's been the most boring. It's like, oh, God. If we won 1-0 and I thought, you know what, we had it in the bag, it's fine. And we were playing a certain brand, you can accept when you sit a little bit deeper in your counter, that's how it is. But when you've got the ball all the time, it's like, can you please just show me why you've got the ball? What's the point of having it? You can't just have, like, this isn't FIFA where you got a tenner on the line and you're just passing out the back for the last 20 minutes just to win your wager. That's not what this should be. Okay, so we disagree with Fulham. What about Everton? I think we can beat Everton at home.
Yep, Everton's another win.
And then the last three are the ones where it's really difficult. You got Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, United at home, and Forest away.
Liverpool, I'm going to say draw.
I can agree with that.
Just because I'm hoping that Liverpool have the title wrapped up by then and they're kind of on the beach. Yeah, I would lean more towards victory, but like let's let the couple of results before play out before I say we beat Liverpool.
Yeah.
So I'll say draw.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd probably say a draw as well. Newcastle is 100% a loss. We're not beating Newcastle away.
Hey, Newcastle's another one I'm going to wait on just because like they've won. My whole theory with them is they've won the Carabao Cup and their season's peaked. So I'm hoping it leads to a little drop-off from them. I've seen it happen to teams after they win the Carabao before. So,
I mean, they're only 2 points behind us now, but I see what you're saying.
You know what? I'll be win. Fuck it.
Fair.
I'll see a win at St. James's.
I'm saying a loss against Newcastle. United at
home.
I
understand. I'm not even going to argue you too much because I get
it. United at home, I think it's got a draw written all over it.
Win.
But I do think we can win it, but just generally.
They'll be on the beach as well by then. So, yeah, win.
Forest away, I honestly haven't got a clue.
Yeah, you're with me on that one. Because that also depends on where Forest finishes. If they've got top 4 in the bag by then, I could see them like on the beach a little bit too. Home advantage will help them and everything, but it didn't help them last campaign when all they needed was just a goal, even if they lost, because the goal difference would have helped them. So, yeah, draw or win or something. I don't see us losing that because I think they'll have third wrapped up.
So, I mean, how many points are we on at the moment? We're on 49 points. We finished on 63 last season. Do you see us finishing above that?
So yes. Yeah, I do.
What would you predict? I mean, you can count it up if you want. Get the old calculator out. So we'll just say these are your predictions. 3 points against Spurs. Are you saying a win against Brentford as well then? Or a draw?
I'm going to say draw for now.
Okay, so 4 points. 7 points if we beat Ipswich. 10 points if we beat Fulham, like you're saying.
Yeah, I had a win for that.
13 if we beat Everton. 14 if we draw against Liverpool. And you think we can beat Newcastle?
Oh, if they're on the beach, not on the beach. If they've dipped off with the Carabao win, yes.
Okay. So what's your prediction? for the record?
Probably a 2-1.
2-1.
Probably a 2-1.
All right, 17 points. And then you think we'd beat United as well?
Yeah.
That puts us on 20. So, I mean, just from that, we're on 69 points, which I think is more than enough. To be fair, I think that's a good. Yeah, that would be fine. I'd be chuffed, mate, if we had 69 points. I think that would be a good finish. I just don't see it though. I don't see it, Lewis. But I hope I'm wrong. And you know what?
I care for now, but we have a core group of players returning at the right time.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that we come back and we do another video outside Stamford Bridge like we did before. And we're both in a good mood. You know, we're happy. I'll be happy if we get top 4. I still don't think I'd be convinced by Maresca because I think that I need to see more from him. And I don't have anything to judge from his career. So it's not like I can look at, what's his history over the past 5 years. I can't do that. So I can only judge it from what I'm seeing now. And what I'm seeing now, I'm not liking. But I appreciate that. You know, I appreciate that you're being a little bit more patient than I am. I just think that if you add up all of the little things, I think it's actually a lot worse than you think, as opposed to just looking at one thing and one thing only. I look at, you know, the press, the goalkeeping situation, the style of play, the drop off in form, the fact that he shook Timber's hand at Arsenal and smiled. Now, all of these things add up to me, and that's where I've lost faith. But listen,
I hear it. It's just I can't understand it compared to last season. That's just it.
Fair enough. Well, let us know what you think in the comments, guys. Do you agree or disagree with myself or Lewis? Do you think that Maresca is a clown? Or do you think that, you know what, whatever we had is better than what we had last season with Poch, because he was the worst of them all? So let us know. Do you agree or disagree with me or Lewis? Subscribe to Lewis's channel as well, and we'll catch up very soon.